Hedgehog?
This sewing project was a journey, and the filming of this sew is honestly a complete wreck. So instead of a video montage of me repeatedly saying, well, that didn't work, I'm going to give you 6 things that you should know about sewing. Number 1, cut your skirt and dresses long. Different fabrics hang different, and depending on where you land that waist, a 30-inch skirt could land on the floor or it could land at your calves. You can always cut something shorter, but it becomes a design feature that you likely did not want if you have to make something longer. Number 2, fabric stashes are not that great of a thing. They're actually difficult. If you have 5 yards of a fabric, it's very hard to want to use just 2 yards of it for something when you honestly don't have a good plan for the use of the rest of the fabric. Number 3, if you are teaching yourself how to sew, absolutely write down a curriculum for yourself. For me, I'm doing 12 skirts in a row, and with each skirt, I need to display a new skill that I obtained. The goal being that at the end, I want to have a solid flat knee pattern that I understand and can use with ease. I want to be able to have excellent closures, excellent waistbands, and linings well within my skill set. Number 4, I now have a loose concept of darts that I do indicate on the fabric, but I'm going to fit the skirt and the darts to the desired waistband, which is not your waist measurement. Your waistband is your waist measurement plus the amount of ease that makes sense for what you are sewing. You are likely to have a waistband range. I know that my minimum waistband is 28 inches. My maximum is 30. A 30-inch waist is something that I could easily wear all day and be perfectly comfortable in. 28 inches means that I'm likely wearing shapewear and heels and going to an event. 29 inches, I think, is my perfect go-to size. The next couple of skirts will determine whether or not I'm correct on this range. Number 5, sewing by machine is not always better. In fact, a lot of sewing turns out flat out better if you do it by hand. This is not a sign of being an amateur. A good portion of couture bespoke sewing is done by hand. I'm absolutely seeing the advantage of doing more handwork than relying on some special foot on the sewing machine. Number 6, when was the last time you changed your sewing needle? You probably need to do that. Yes, it makes a difference. Okay, let's talk this project. This is a repeat of the blue skirt, the exact same pattern, but the pleats were resized, the waistband was changed, and the waistband closure was changed, and I added a lining. Basically, I used a familiar successful pattern and asked myself to learn how to put in a couture waistband and lining. The next skirt I will be putting in the zipper by hand the couture way. This is the book guide I'm using, not that I'm affiliated or sponsored, and the link will be in the pinned comment. Let's talk waistbands. The interfacing measures to the exact size of the length of your waistband. The material that shows should be 1.5 inches to 2 inches longer than the waistband measurement and about 1/2 inch wider on the top and bottom of the interfacing ribbon. I used gauze grain ribbon to interface the waistband. Baste the ribbon in, work from the center out. Fold the seam allowance over the top of the ribbon and baste it down. Miter the corner, fold the seam allowance diagonally at the end of the waistband and whip stitch it in. Baste the waistband to the skirt. This will allow for perfect placement. Don't skip any of the basting stitches. None of them are a waste of time. Next, machine stitch in the waistband. Finally, catch stitch in all seam allowances to the waistband so things lay flat. Sew in 2 coat hooks, 1/8 in from the end of the waistband. Place 2 eyes at the other end. Now, line the waistband. This is where it gets exciting. I use the same silk I used to line the skirt. Cut the lining about 1 inch wider and 1 inch longer than the waistband. Press the long edge under 1/2 inch and with the wrong side together, pin the lining to the waistband with the folded edge at the top. Baste the lining into place at the upper edge. Fold the ends under to cover the eyelets on the hooks and eyes. Once everything is basted in, slip stitch everything in place permanently. All right, this is the day. I believe this is the day I get to finish the skirt. And here's the really cool part. I wasn't actually anticipating or really planning to elevate my skirt at the level that I did, but this is exciting. I really like how it's closing. I like where the zipper went. I like the improvements that I have made. This is exciting. This is my first lined skirt. And not only is it lined, it's silk lined. I did a burn test. I made sure that it was silk. So I have a wool skirt that's silk lined. As you can see, the lining is much longer than the skirt, and the skirt is entirely too long, like it's down to the floor. I decided to give myself full capabilities of like choosing exactly where this is gonna land.